Welcome back, everyone, to round four of the Nordic Championship 2019 summer season, brought to you by the Monster Energy DreamHack Studio broadcast, and me, as well as Trouble Inc. right
Hello,
here. We just
hello.
witnessed Neon Esports take down Celestial in a very fun fashion, actually, with Rain locking in that Warwick and running away with the game. Unsuspected, offhand, but Trouble, I'd be damned if it didn't work out.
Um, I had my doubts when it started, but then I was like, he actually turned around a 1v2 fight where he kind of
Yeah.
healed 50% of his HP level 4 or
I
level
told
5 or
you,
something like
Warwick
this.
early game. It's crazy.
I'm like, hit me with a stick, but I'm not sure if Warwick is really a meta right now, or if Ray was like, well, let me just have some fun, all right? We locked in Yumi. Why not put out there our hidden gun, and he literally ran with it. I think he was something like 11-1 at the end of
Yeah.
this game. But we have to give props to the rest of the team because sure, bot lane was a sacrificial lamb where Azito was left alone on that CV, and Yumi was like, well, sorry, I've got another carry now. But Yameru did pretty well in the mid lane, shutting down that Kiana together with Rain. And Haru, I think that was the best performance we've ever seen from him.
Yeah, he was looking so strong. The nature of the champion is obviously that you farm up all of this gold. You can focus on CS and get those parley income running from both your barrels and your actual queue. So he had a fantastic showing as well, staving off a Coolberg on multiple occasions and chunking down people in AV fashion. The cannon barrages were very crazy. But you talked a little bit about bot lane being the sacrificial lamb.
Mm-hmm.
That also comes down to obviously the first blood 1v1. They were behind from the beginning. Some questionable decisions there from Azator to assume that they didn't see him walking out of that bush or something, thinking that they perhaps timed it perfectly or something like this. But he obviously did die for first blood, so he was set behind early on, so it's expected for a little Ambivalent and Eski to run away with that one. However, despite that fact, he was still 25 CS up consistently across the game. So I would say all of the Neon lineup showing up on the day, and the pressure is now on for Celestial to adapt. But however, Trouble, Celestial, they've shown that they come out swinging in the first game historically over several seasons, right? Uh,
Mm-hmm.
and then they sort of fall off across the duration of a best of three. So
Well,
if we look at their tendencies and historical happenings here, then it's not looking good for game two. But if they were to craft themselves a way back in, it's gonna
well,
start in picks and bans. How are
I
they
don't
gonna?
know. For me, it looked like Celestial Gaming was taking away champions just so Neon Esports does not lock them in. So, for example, the Ezreal, you take him away so he doesn't roam around with the Yumi, because I think it would have been a harder game if that's possible for Celestial Gaming, if that was an Ezreal down the bot lane, because you would have been roaming around with Rain much more than he actually did. And then you grab the Kiana away from Yameru, who was the one who actually was very successful on that champion. And then you grab the early game jungler, which is J4, and a winning matchup for your top lane now versus Gangplank. Now, the winning matchup in the top lane was not a winning matchup at all, since Haru managed to turn it around versus Kohlberg on his own, I have to say. So I would say start by banning Yumi, because when you have such an aggressive jungler such as Rain, when he knows where to be, how to be, and from where to come from to gank or counter gank, you need to disable that champion that can literally roam around with the jungler 24/7 and get pressure on every other single lane. So get rid of the cat and try to get Rain on something that he has previously not performed so well on. So maybe get him onto that Rex side, push him back onto that Zinzao. Saying that though, we have just moved into the picks and bans phase. So our question about the Yumi being banned or not is going to be answered very shortly.
And banning away the Yumi means that you don't necessarily have to ban away the Warwick. The synergies are super good between
I
these two
don't
champions.
know.
Sure.
I'm not
At the
sure. It
same
was pretty
time, you
scary.
could pull it. It looks scary, yeah, but I mean,
Maybe
it would be
Nasira?
one way to approach it.
Maybe Nazir would be a way to deal with the war in the
Oh,
mid
perhaps,
to
yeah.
late game. Yumi, of course,
Yeah,
gonna
there
get
it
banned
is.
out, but it's from Neon Esports because Celestial Gaming have first pick for themselves, so they don't want the card to slip away from their hands. So they are going to completely remove it from the picks pool. Now, there's of course other picks in there. There's the Lux, there's the Aatrox.
Lux was, however, nerfed in patch 9.14, I believe,
That was
with
for support though.
support. Yes, indeed, exactly. That's a very, very, very proper point there. With the return shield being the same as the outgoing shield, I believe the AP
Hmm.
ratio has
And the
been
duration of it.
pr- and the duration, yeah, down to 2.5 seconds from 3. But however, a massive AP buff on that final spark
Oh
ultimate.
yeah.
So we're switching the Lux over to the solo lanes. If the teams are willing to pick it up in the
A
competitive
Caliban.
setting, Akali,
Well, we talked about
yeah,
her. She has received one of the biggest nerfs, which is
yeah.
they've swapped their obscurity into invisibility. What that means, if you guys remember the old Akali in her shroud, an E or a Q from a Lee Sin would actually completely reveal Akali and make her visible and targetable to the enemies. Same thing is happening right now with the new changes to the shroud. So I'm not sure if Akali is really worth a ban here or the fear that Zandia can play this champion even right now so well. And I don't know what is up with everyone teasing the Katarina today. Hmm. Hmm.
They're teasing you. I don't get
Hmm.
to be teased because my favorite champion, or my second favorite champion in Akali, it's never going to see the light of day, is she? Because she'll be banned or not playable whatsoever. But if teams start teasing
Oh,
me with AP Kog'Maw, I'll be excited. But that's a Camille. Okay, so Camille got
spicy.
one significant change, right? Which was putting the Sheen proc into the true
In her
damage.
Q. Yeah.
Yes, exactly, of that Q there. Uh,
I'm
yeah,
done.
they're actually going to continue with this
I'm not
for the
gonna
rest of the
comment
season.
until it actually gets locked in, and then I'm gonna start cheering so hard. But I know it's never gonna happen. I saw it. I saw it being played by Faker when it first got reworked to the Katarina that it is right now. But I know it's never gonna happen. It wouldn't happen as a blind pick anyway. So
It really wouldn't, and that's
instead,
the opposite of
you
a
pick the
Katarina.
catfish. That's
Yeah.
great. That's
Oh no, are they going to continue doing this for the rest of the
yeah.
pick
For
and
the
ban
rest of picks
phase?
and bans, I know. I know.
Yeah, as well.
Right. So
So
back at it.
Caitlyn
Caitlyn
Morgana.
Morgana is a very strong lane because if the Q lands or somebody accidentally wants to munch on that cupcake you're laying on the floor on top of a trap, then one, your headshot is doing double the crit damage that your normal headshot does. And two, Morgana can follow it up with a Q binding and possibly an ultimate right after, which result in another cupcake, which will result in somebody dying in the bot lane. So I do find it a very strong bot lane, but it does need to be surrounded by a very strong jungler. And this is where I'm gonna say it over and over again. We need to see the Sejuani coming in, or we need to see the Sejuani banned. That's another approach. I think Sejuani has insane synergy with Camille, especially if you put Camille in the mid lane. So it had to be Celestial Gaming banning the Sejuani out because it would give extreme power to Yameru and Rain. And I mean, they don't really need the power fed into their mouths because they already have it. So whatever you can take away from that duo from Neon Esports, I would. And the new and improved Rise in the mid lane.
Yes, we had a conversation about this, and you predicted a couple of champions that were going to see the light of day, and one of them was Rise. So, what made you say that prediction, and what makes your Meru lock this in today?
Well, the thing is that Rice was never a bad champion. The only problem with him was that he was too squishy and too predictable and too gankable in the mid lane, and that every champion could outpush him in the mid lane. Now, with his health regen being buffed and the health regen growth being buffed, it gives him that window he needs to actually be able to scale into the late game. So it's a great pick right here from Yameru. All you need to do is pretty much pressure the lane. You don't need to fight. You don't need to do anything. It could actually be in the top lane as well, and you swap the Camille towards the mid, depending on what jungle you go for. But I would expect it to go towards the mid lane. You don't really want to play against that Aatrox as Rise because you're too weak early in the game.
Indeed, and as a response to that rise, we have that Cassio locked in for what I believe is Zandia. You have seen some Cassio's top lane historically, but most likely going to be
Ooh.
piloted by Zandia there. And there's that Rek'Sai. So Comfort for Rain has played it in the last two best of threes, I believe. So
I
that
mean,
would
what's
mean
not
a top
comfort
lane
for
Camille.
Rain?
What?
We literally saw him play Warwick. What is not comfortable
I
for
mean,
this guy to play in the jungle?
sure.
Soraka?
Yeah, sure, but I mean, you have to see the similarities that all of these picks have, right? They early game sort of low range ish heavy bruisers. They all kind of align with that. So Rek'Sai and Warwick not too far apart in that sense. But yeah, the man definitely has a playstyle. But that Rek'Sai coming in is going to be quite huge. Going on to that Cassio in the mid side, Cassio versus Rise Rek'Sai. I mean, those two champions alone do have quite a bit of setup. But then again, Rise did have that change to Rune Prison a while back.
I mean, I would love to believe that it is going to be Yameru on that Camille because the dominance that Rain and Yameru have when they join their forces together is absolutely outstanding. It enables Rain and then it gets Yameru strong enough to 1v1 whoever is against him in the lane. Now, on the other hand, you have another super safe bot lane because this is what Neon Esports does, ladies and gentlemen. You leave your bot lane in an island, you leave your top lane in an island as well, and you kind of work with the mid and top lane shenanigans that you have right there, especially if Rain picks a Warwick that you weren't expecting. But this time, he is going to be on the Hail of Blades Rek'Sai. And I just want to see, because we didn't quite get there, we had a little bit of a problem switching champions in pick and bans. So we're going to get back into it really quickly again. So I really want to see where the Camille and where the Rise will go.
They have some options available to them. Obviously, there's a lot of annoyance here. There's some solid tower diving if you wanna duo it up with Camille Rek'Sai. Fantastic with their
Ooh.
ultimate of resetting,
And Tam Kench?
and Tom Kench also with that gobble up devour that you can just munch up a teammate. And it doesn't sound the most pleasant thing in the world, but it does help in these tower dives. So all in all, quite an obnoxious sort of tower dive and maneuvering kind of composition here, especially with the Rise ultimate and Tam Kent ultimate also. So there's like some flanking and maneuverability added there too, which could influence the macro decisions that we get to see in this game.
I mean,
They're going to be
I'm
creative,
gonna
hopefully.
focus. Yeah, I'm gonna focus down the bot lane though from Celestial Gaming because I love what they're doing here. They're trying to create somewhere in the map pressure where Neon Esports does not care about. And where are you gonna create that pressure? It's down the bot lane where they're trying to play, as safe as possible. The Tompkins doesn't really have any pressure in the start for starters. He doesn't have any wave clear. Sure, Zaya does, but a Caitlyn Morgana lane has extreme push potential. And once you're pushed back underneath your tower, then that Zaya becomes really hard to CS with. You've got so much harassment coming in from the Morgana. You've got all these traps laid around from the Caitlyn, and you're kind of like, how am I actually going to CS? So getting that Lee Sin locked in for Celestial Gaming also will put more pressure down there. And I love to see that. I love to see some proactivity coming out, of Celestial Gaming. You're not going to back off because if you do play, we saw it in the previous, best of three where MJ tried to play, the more laid back game, you know, going and drafting all late game champions and hoping they're going to scale without losing too much. And then they go run over by Dusty. So I like the proactivity that Celestial Gaming want to implement into the game, and I think it could potentially work in the bot lane. I mean, the only route is through the bot lane. You snowball your Caitlyn, and you literally move her. She's like a peon on a chessboard. You literally swap her from lane to lane to lane. You get the tower, reset, get you into another lane, get the tower, lay the cupcakes, reset, and so on and so on.
Okay, lads, we do have a little bit of a technical difficulty here, so we'll be heading into a quick break. But when we come back, we will hopefully be able to bring you guys the rest of the match between Neon Esports and Celestial Gaming. So a quick break, ladies and gentlemen. Grab yourself a drink or anything to keep your attention on this match, because it's going to be fun to watch with this draft. We'll see you in just a few minutes. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back after that short little break. We did have some issues there with one of the players having their PC crashing apparently. So it has been confirmed, but they are now ready to go. I believe it was on the hands of Neon Esports here, but we're back and ready to go now. Obviously, Neon are up 1-0 as of right now, and they looked quite fun in the previous match. But the picks and bans have obviously already been done. So, who do you think has the upper hand in the second match? Trouble.
I mean, I don't think we have to take much in consideration the draft. I love the way Celestial Gaming are trying to approach this game. Obviously, Neon Esports, I think they're superior team wise. But I just love the way that CG are like, all right, we're not gonna fall into the trap of trying to, pick for late game or try to pick against you or take your champion so you don't lock them in. Instead, we're actually gonna try and play our game, get that early game, advantage towards our bot side, use our Caitlyn as our only Gatling gun and pretty much fire on every single lane, grab all the towers and snowball from there. So it's a pretty good tactic on paper. You've got the Lee Sin, you've got everything you need in place. You've got pretty much a skill matchup in the top lane, the Aatrox versus the Camille. You've got the Rise versus the Cassiopeia, which both are pretty. Well, I wouldn't say the Cassiopeia is very, safe in the mid lane, but they're both kind of, scaling mid laner. So they're not gonna be, butting heads in the mid lane. So and usually, like Azita and Tiara are left on their own device in the bot lane. Rain does not really go much down there unless, he lane ganks. So I'm pretty sure that Ambivert and Eski, it's up to their hands to try and carry Celestial Gaming through this game.
Yes, Ambiver and Eski with Morgana Caitlyn combination. We're gonna have to keep our eyes on them. But personally, I'm so looking forward to see Cassio being back in play again with those Twin Fangs changes. I believe it's a quite ridiculous amount of AP scaling on that one, like 25% later on, something like this on Twin Fangs. But
Mm-hmm.
it deals 75% less healing on minions, obviously. So speaking of Gatling guns, this snake lady will be able to pew down with the twin fangs and heal up ridiculous amounts. And with Cassio and Aatrox, the healing is going to be out of this world.
I mean, there's plenty of healing to go around here. So I don't know, maybe a Katarina would make sense with
Oh
the
man,
60% anti
it's
healing.
true. It's very
Hey,
relevant.
hey, come on. It was the only relevant thing to say about Katarina this whole series because everyone has been teasing me, like showing Katarina and then picking something completely irrelevant, such as maybe the Tam Kent. I don't know. Like, they
Complete
don't look
opposite.
like each other. You know, that's a freaking catfish. But okay.
Yeah, you got catfish.
So, what?
You got catfished by
I got
Amalia there.
catfished by the catfish. That is
Yeah.
actually true. So, the only thing that I might say that I like here for the first time in my entire life is the fact that the Caitlyn is not going heal. She is going with a teleport. She wants to be around the entire lanes. She wants to be able to swap lanes really quick advantage and grab as many towers as possible. Now, I feel like the fate of Celestial Gaming lays in Deepsy's hands and Ambivert and Eski's hands. And remember, Deepsy is only a sub in Celestial Gaming. So you can say that it's a little bit harder, to coordinate all your plays when you're having a sub in. In the previous game, he couldn't really find the opening he wanted to with the Javan. Hopefully, this time, the lane itself will be able to give him the opening to grab some ganks, grab some kills, and hopefully snowball from the bot side.
Neon have been throwing curveballs at Ipsy though, so it's fair that he's not as a substitute been able to truly shine just yet. I mean, you're going up Warwick. How much practice does this guy have against Warwick and Neon in general, right? Because as a substitute player, you're coming in with an already established lineup as the new guy, and you're trying to
Hmm.
fit in and all of that jazz. And at the same time, you got the enemy team
And
doing
in the
this kind of
playstyle,
stuff.
yeah, yep.
Yeah, just makes it all difficult for Dipsy to shine. But hopefully he'll find his footing here in the second game because we are heading into it just now, I believe. And there's so much to talk about here. You put so much emphasis on Celestial Gaming's bottom lane, but at the same time, there's the Tom Kench on the other side. There's the Featherstorms. There's so much maneuverability onto Neon, so much healing onto Celestial.
And don't forget the spell book.
The spellbook indeed.
Kiara
Clan
wants to
spellbook.
have as many flashes and as many summoners available as possible, and as many of them as possible. So in case Rain goes down, Tiara can jump into any pit and try to smite still, which we have seen a lot in the competitive play. You know, the Tamkins will swap real quickly his second summoner to a smite and flash into the pit and try, you know, to smite still the enemy jungler. It's happened many times and it's actually worked. So since you know that the entire CG lineup is going to play towards the bot side, and since you know that pretty much Neon Esports' bot side is going to be left to their own devices and they're going to be left all alone, feels bad, man. They need to have this, like you said, this maneuverability to get that Tamkit to flash in and out, to devour, and be able to keep Azita alive and safe and healthy to be able to CS and be that late game hyper carry that Neon wants him to be.
And they need him to be 100%. I mean, you can't rely on your jungler snowballing out of control each time, right? And obviously, Aztor on that Sivir last time got first blooded and spent the rest of the game being pushed in by Ambivert and SK and us being on the responsive. So perhaps getting that bot lane into a steady place would be extremely beneficial for Neon. I think it all comes down to unlocking the map here, right? For Neon.
That's why you get the Caitlyn down there.
Exactly,
and the double range bot lane. Tamkins cannot really do anything about this. He cannot sustain the damage. You've got the range over the Zarya, and you've got a range versus melee matchup support, which always goes in favor of the range support. You get level 2 first, now you can harass. Now you can pressure Neon Esports' bot lane underneath the tower, and look at that.
Early
Lee Sin is going towards bot side, but Rain's going top.
Rain's here. Top side gang, but Coolberg, he finally flashes for that one. Coolberg should surely die. It's Haru who picks it up on that buffed Camille. So Coolberg will have a rough time for quite some time in the future now.
Oh man, and I was thinking that Rain might stay for another gank up there, but he actually back off. And Coolberg really underestimates the hail of blades damage coming out of the Rain's Rek'Sai, uses the flash right there, but way too late. Great knockup from Rain, gives Haru a helping hand to get in ahead yet again in that top lane. And imagine, this is a level 3 summonerless Aatrox sitting in the top lane. You can absolutely destroy that lane by repeat ganking and putting him so far behind experience and gold-wise.
Thing is though, now Rain's flash is down too. And you saw how much damage Rain took on the side in. Yes, he was ganking with maybe like 65-70% HP, but Kubik was laying down the pain with this Aatrox, dissuading Rain to at least some extent to close the distance fully. Finally goes for that flash outplay. So yes, they have that advantage, but they're gonna need to execute it quite perfectly to not have Kohlberg just, brawl it out and attempt to get out with his life. But I mean, and just look top right now. Haru comes back. Well, actually hasn't bought
He
yet.
hasn't backed yet, actually, yeah.
Never mind then.
So he's gonna do it now with his first gold goodies in his pocket. And I think he's gonna be very happy. Triple longsword. He really wants to take that fight against Kuba because he definitely has the advantage onto this one. And you can see how pings are going down like crazy towards the bot lane because this is the point we need to focus on for Celestial Gaming. You need to get that Caitlyn rolling and you need to try and punish the Zarya before it's too late. And this is exactly what we're seeing here. They're trying to pressure the lane and pressure the Tamkins far behind. But Rain wants that repeat gang we talked about.
Yeah, Rain's coming up here, but Haru is starting it all way too early, I believe. Rain's here. Yeah, he wants to solo. He's trying to get the knockup. Watch Dipsy, however. He's going in there. There's a knockup coming in from Coolberg. They're dissuading Rain and Haru from going for anything else.
He's going back in.
Haru, he's keep on fishing for it. He keeps on luring Dipsy back in there. And I mean, look at the damage actually. The triple longsword flashes in. They managed to pull it off. Are you kidding me? That looked so forced. And they I guess they're strong enough to break down the door and bust right in.
Wow, and that is the Q damage coming in for Camille. Insane. Now he's sitting the top lane 2-0, and they're trying to possibly dive the Aatrox? Surely not. The HP bars are too low for that.
Yeah, I don't think Rain can pull this one off. Probably just clearing out a little bit of vision there, gets that Scuttle Crab and goes about his day. So you say that the combination here, but with the dark bindings and the cupcakes, makes for an incredible amount of CC and harass. But I feel like Azator and Tiara are doing such a good job using their abilities and their presence and zoning to never really let Ambivert get close enough to put down that cupcake once a dark binding lands, so that they know what they're up against 100%.
Well, you have to be scared of Rain. He was literally the one single-handedly running from lane to lane to lane, laying down the pain and getting kills for every single one of his laners. Oh wait, he actually took them himself, but he was able to translate into a swift win for his team. But you have to respect that Hail of Blades Rek'Sai, which is onto Coolberg right now.
Speaking of Rain, gets the knockup onto Coolberg after his top laner Haru enables him. But look at that healing. Finally, Coolberg
so
accesses that ultimate. But it's just not enough. And Haru gets an even increased lead. Now, 2-0 and 1. There's core fields on the side of Aatrox. But, I mean, as soon as Haru backs, he's sitting at another 1,100 gold. That's like straight up Sheen if he wants to go for it. I mean, Tiamat, I guess, is more important in the early game.
And Coolberg is going to have such a hard time from now on. 0 and 2. All the lane is pushed towards Haru. I'm pretty sure it's freezing in a really, really bad spot versus Coolberg as well. So you definitely don't want to be in that spot if you are a 0-2 Aatrox. Just about now, he got his flash back. But if you could be peeking onto a lane, that could potentially be top lane if you're Rain, because your bot lane is actually having no trouble at all. There's Ambivert and Eski and the flash.
Zandia forces the flash solo. Look at the power of this Cassio pick. Finds that Miasma. Finds that Q Venom there, and the Twin Fangs are just enough damage to force Yameru out back to the fountain. Not only is she does she establish 20 CS lead, gets the solo kill. Are you kidding me?
That's a lot of power on that Cassiopeia, and manages to push Yameru out of the lane, which, remember, he was the member together with Rain to grab that really swift victory in the previous game. So shutting down early into the game means that Rain cannot play against that lane anymore, because that Cassiopeia is, like you said, he's 30 CS ahead. He's grabbed a kill, and now he's beating onto Rain as well. Dipsy makes sure he's around, push another wave in, so Zandia can back off and go by with that gold he has just gotten into his pocket. And it's looking pretty peachy for Celestial Gaming, all except the top lane, I would say.
Yeah, like poor Coolberg is down in there, but at least he's keeping up in CS despite the freeze attempt earlier by Haru, and despite getting killed off twice, he's keeping up in CS for sure. Now, I want to touch a little bit on Zandia's adaptation build here, because for quite some time we saw a Luden's Rush be the deal for Cassios across the board for quite a few patches. With these changes and the Twin Fang spam, I'm adoring the Seraphs or Archangels rush here by Zandia to allow herself to always have enough damage and tanking. Here comes that maneuverability that I was speaking of though. Yameru, he gets kicked, however, into his teammate and Rain.
That's tier 2. They're diving.
It is. They're right there at the tier 2.
Oh, the TP!
TP in by Zandia is going to get that Miasma and Petrifying Gaze flank here. Rain flashes forward though. Coolberg wants that one. It's Dipsy who picks it up with the Red Smite, I believe. And I mean, it was looking grim for Celestial Gaming, but they turned that one around.
I think it's the over effort from Neon Esports to finish the game real quickly that they're underestimating who's playing against. Another engagement on Azator.
SK forced a stopwatch. Yes, Azator gets gobbled up by Tiara. And it's perfectly fine. There is that Hextech ultimatum coming in onto Coolberg. But watch the healing. It's just too much. The Ortha could have maybe healed him if he had that passive available to him.
Here's the
Oh,
kill!
nice dodge there by Haru. He's gonna get it. No, he's settling down for that one kill. So that's a 1 versus 2
Rain's in the bot lane,
kill.
he's coming in.
Rain is bot side. Well, there's a trap. Beautiful there by Ambivert and Eski with the follow-up CC. They want to continue on trying to find something here, but Tiara can't manage to get the CC down onto Eski. So action across the board. So many almost situations. Wait,
I love
meanwhile,
how powerful.
actually,
Wait, Yameru is coming bot side.
Yameru, but another
beautiful.
beautiful binding here. Wait, Rain
There's
does
no
not have
flashes.
ultimate available. He finds the Prey Seeker, but doesn't have the ultimate available. Void Rush, not
I
on
think they
cooldown
will
just yet.
settle for the Infernal Drake. I mean, not quite good
It's
as
just
a
an
kill,
Infernal
but
Drake.
it's just an Infernal Drake. Whilst in the mid lane, Zandia is hammering down on that tier 1 tower, grabbed himself 3 tower plates already, and they might be starting the Shelly in the top side. Rift Herald, they want to trade objectives right here because wait a minute, the bot lane of Neon Esports is actually back. They're not doing the Infernal
What?
Dragon, so this could be Celestial Gaming grabbing a really nice objective for themselves.
In trade for nothing. Yes, they're doing the Infernal now, and Dipsy is trying to get away from the pressure of Yameru, I suppose. Yeah, not going to be able to be stolen away. But I mean, Celestial Gaming, they're given so much time. Actually,
Wait, what?
Dipsy? I mean, he does have the dash away also, but the amount of time that Neon gifted to Celestial to get that Herald and spawn it mid lane was so unnecessary. And that's first turrets for
Great,
Celestial.
they put Shelly down in the mid lane, cashing in on Berg, which is very crucial because he has been denied so much. Even though he's keeping up with the CS, he's been denied so much. And look at that, Neon Esports is not in place to defend this tower, and it's gonna get yet another tower in the mid lane and another charge onto the inhibitor tower, and bot lane is still not backing up.
There's an inhibitor
Wait,
turret
what?
siege. Yameru gets killed. Inhibitor turret falling at 13 minutes. What even is this game? Celestial
Shelly?
Gaming, I said they fell off over the duration of a best of 3, but they're coming online in game number 2. Meanwhile, Dipsy finds Azator down in the bot side, but Azator trades back, gets to root, and by a little attacking turrets. Oh no, dodges out onto Dipsy's.
Oh, but they're coming down.
Oh, actually, yeah, Zandia laying down the deeps onto Tiara. There's also Dipsy gets the solo kill in
So
fact.
selfish.
Zandia, can you
So
get out? No,
selfish.
solo killed.
Oh.
What? Tiara solo kills Zandia. Big shutdown going over to the catfish, and it's a 1-for-1 trade unnecessarily. But the mid lane siege trouble, that was something else.
That was absolutely genius, and the fact that Neon did not pull the trigger to actually pull the members back, they kept Azita in the bot lane. He is one of your main wave clear together with Yameru, and if I'm not wrong, Yameru was actually dead. So the whole Neon Esports was scattered all over the map, while Shelly was having a party in the mid lane, and that inhibitor is now open. 3,000 gold lead and 4 towers in favor of Celestial Gaming. They're definitely putting this Caitlyn to work.
They are, and it's important, right? Because Caitlyn has this sort of... She's really strong early on with that stage that she can put down, but she dips down in the relative power to the Xayah somewhere in the mid-game and comes online with that insane rage later on. She'll always be a potent sieger, but in general, she's strongest, earliest, and at the latest, and they're utilizing her to great effect. And also, I mean, you have to be careful still. With Neon Esports running this Camille who's out of control, they will have the split push tool available to them. If they utilize it properly, they can perhaps start trading objectives, which I think is quite important at the moment, as long as it doesn't go overboard like it did in the mid lane.
And it's true, we still haven't seen Haru enter in a fight yet. I think he's going to be extremely strong, especially now that he's completed his Trinity Force. Look on the other side of the map. Kulberg does not even have a single item completed for himself yet. So, oh, there we go. We're going to see him now.
Speaking of Haru, nice dodge out there with the Hextech Ultimatum. Dipsy just running around like a headless chicken. Zandia is quick to fall at the hands of Rain. Flash is very real. Oh, beautiful Dragon's Rage, but that is the Prey Seeker coming in for the double kill for Rain. As it is Neon Esports actually striking back here.
It's
Meanwhile, top side, Azator gets a solo kill against Ambivert. It is map wide, and Dipsy and Coolberg are the only ones left standing. Coolberg wants to try to push them away from this turret, but surely this is mid, outer turret at least for Neon Esports.
Oh, that was
continuing
a gorgeous dodge from Haru. He wants more.
Haru is still tagging turrets, by the way. Has to be gobbled up by Tiara. TP is coming in by Zandia. There is that miasma. It doesn't reach anyone, though. TP still. Again, Azator comes in, but it's in the middle of 3 people. Yameru is running away from his teammate. This is what you get when you TP in with an ADC. It doesn't stop trouble. The knock-up on to Zandia dies after teleporting it back into the fight, which has been going on for well over a minute now. And what is going on?
Wait, I'm so baffled there's no replay, because that was such a sick play by Haru in the mid lane, dodging the petrifying gaze of Zandia so gracefully, and he just kept on going. He had his foot down on the throttle pedal, and he never let go. Azator, though, that's another situation, because we've talked about ADCs and actually having a TP, because you will either have to TP in the center of a fight, where it's really crucial where you're actually going to TP, because if you TP in the center of a fight, well, chances are until that TP completes being channeled, that your teammates might have moved away from where you're TPing and you're all alone. Tiara was nowhere near to devour where Azator TP'd, and I felt like his TP was a little bit too late as well, and too much in the face of Celestial Gaming. So I will say maybe of an underestimation of what his TP could do there, because he TP's in, no Flash, no Featherstorm. So they managed to grab a quick kill on him.
Trouble.
There is a big yes.
When the fight lasts for a minute, is it really too late or is it early?
Well, you can't really say the fight lasts for a minute, because he was too busy killing Ambivert in the top side. So, you know what, guys? You know, I couldn't TP any earlier because I was busy killing someone else in the top lane. And I'll take that. Ambivert is one of the fed players from the side of Celestial Gaming. So if you can get him down, I mean, props to you to 1v1 the enemy ADC. But TP'd in the middle of the enemy team while the fight has actually stopped happening, that was a little bit questionable. Just a little bit. But this is, of course, Neon Esports. They managed to turn it around. Rain gets back in. Prey Seeker connects. And they managed to grab another kill.
And that, I believe, made it something like a 4-for-1 in favor of Neon across everything. All the cross-map things that are happening, and all of the teleports being used left, right, and center. Okay, so Neon Esports now find themselves in the driver's seat. Yes, their mid-inhib is wide open, but they've got the goal lead now established at 1,000. How can they use this without risking some cheeky Celestial Gaming? I mean, is anyone even going to run into the base?
Just play around Haru. Exactly what they're doing right now. They're moving Tiara and to wherever Haru is. He's your Fed member. Rain should join, and he is doing that right away. And you usually just want to play against whichever player can 1v5 at this point in time. It is Haru, 160 CS, 50 CS ahead. Oh, Yameru fancies a 1v1?
He fancies it. It just sits there in the base, catches Zandia off guard, but Zandia doesn't want to play.
Zandia crawls away.
Slithers away.
Yeah, so gracefully. He's like,
heals back.
Maybe not. I would take that fight back when I won it, but this time, no. I don't know if you can avoid it, though, because, Haru is coming up there.
Haru is coming up. It's the name of the game. There's the miasma, though. Gonna buy some time. Perhaps we'll be able to get that. No, it doesn't get the last Twin Fang on the queue there. Petrifying Gaze, obviously used way back. So Haru, with another kill onto his name. Now 5-0 and 3. Ridiculous.
And there we go. Now, there is going to be... I'm pretty sure they need to start getting the vision down for the Baron. They've got all outer turrets destroyed for themselves, and now they need to start setting up for the Baron. Get all that vision deep into the top quadrant jungle of Tipsy, and start trying to bait them running into you. Hextech Ultimatum is really useful in the middle of the jungle, which means you are so stuck and you can't go anywhere. So it's almost 100% hit that Camille is going to get this on you. And depending on who you put it on, you could literally shut down the entire Baron deal process from Celestial Gaming by killing Deepsea, who is actually going for, for the warrior build into Black Cleaver. So he's not necessarily very tanky.
It really isn't. And it's been the same thing over and over again. The tankiness does seem to be lacking all across these games, but that just makes it all the more explosive, as we can see in that last big fight here.
Haru has been spotted in the top side, but you can't really go to the bot side to kill Yameru if you're Deepsea, because the same second they see you down there, they're gonna start the Baron on the top side.
They really are. It's 20 minutes and 30 seconds in, but there is a large amount of DPS. They're going straight for it. I mean, at least establishing some vision control in the area, which is a little bit nice and all. But I mean, it's 20 minutes into the game. Yes, you got your Rise. Yes, you got your Zai here, who have some nice single target DPS. But could they really pull it off? Do you think so?
I think they can, but you do need your Rise to be there. Flash
Haru! But what's cool about never
God.
mind. Haru with that precision protocol Infinity Force.
This is the go-go battle because they're instantly on a 4v5 deficit. So you want to pull your chances. They're trying to bait them in and try to fight them, but Tiara shows too early in the mid lane.
Choosing to not play around the Baron and more so around the bot lane push.
Another tower.
So Haru gets that bot lane inner tower now and is going to continue pressing on. Zandia gets the fight onto Yameru here, but Rain is waiting just around the corner. Dodges out perfectly with the Void Rush to dodge out on Petrifying Gaze. And Haru is still pushing.
They can do both.
They can do both.
In the bot lane.
Haru gets kicked away from the turret though, so they're not going to lose an inhib turret here, but Haru's buying so much time for his team. This is ridiculous. If he can get the hook shot to escape here,
he got him!
We almost finds the kill onto Deepsea here. It's actually Eski on the Morgana who picks up a 1,000 gold shutdown onto Haru. That gold is nice to have on a Morg, yes, but man, on any of your carries, that would have been such a godsend.
That would have been so swell on Kuba because he's been suffering so much this game. So that 1,000 gold would have been great for him to possibly complete his second item of the game. Doesn't end up happening, so Morgana redemption it is, I guess. You know, at least you get the extra heals. But this time, Celestial Gaming wants to consider fighting for this Infernal Drake because it is a 4v5. Haru has a teleport though, he's coming in.
He's coming in with that teleport. Kuba gets gobbled up. Remember, even if he gets an assist, he doesn't have that revive. He's gonna die here at the hands of... Wait, actually flashes away. It's Haru on the left side, in the middle of three people. Get the Hextech Ultimatum onto Eski. Yameru is on the other side of the wall, is trying to brawl off Zandia. Zandia with a nice attempt there, but doesn't manage to pick anyone up. Dies instead. The headshot actually is coming in for Ambivert. And watch Deepsea Dragon Rage's Tiara after he chooses to go in himself. And it's a quick 2-for-0 in favor of Neon Esports, which allows them to siege 3 lanes at the same time. Remember, bot lane inhib is still alive. There's going to be 2 inner turrets and potentially an inhib. It's just wide open for Neon.
Haru is immortal. I was expecting for him to go down in the previous fight. It's the ADC flanking in your base. This stuff is actually crazy.
ADC flanks, it's just one other...
Deepsea!
What, Deepsea? The Lee syndrome there. Dashes in, has to flash away, realizing that he is not going to get out alive if he takes that one. Instead, recalls are coming in. They're going to purchase with a hell of a lot of gold, 1,000 gold plus on both top and mid for Neon. And the power and the gold just keeps on raining down upon them.
Yeah, it keeps on raining and rain yet again. 5, 1, and 3 Rek'Sai. They're taking away something he feels comfortable on. He's like, JK, if I can play the Warwick, I can play anything. Again, so good on that Rek'Sai. And now Derek's, Kate's completed on
Wait,
both
Abyssal
Rain and
Voyage?
Haru, and
Kiara?
that's another ADC flank.
And another ADC flank. Speaking of ADC flanks, Yameri was obviously getting that pick onto Coolberg. It's running away now with
He's
that
trying to stop the
assistance
wave.
of Abyssal Voyage with Azator there. They
Oh
will be
no.
able to catch him out. But remember, Aatrox heals a lot, but he just can't find the damage there. And it's finally going to be the kill. Going over to Yameru. And now Rain, middle of enemy territory, but they can just get so many sieging objectives across the board. That's a TP coming in from Yameru just to get
There's
to the
no Baron
minion
buff.
faster. Still got Baron buff. Obviously,
Look,
I
Haru's
don't think
pulling
Kara has
4
enough.
people in the mid lane to try and stop him. So everyone else from Neon Esports is free to do whatever they want, another transition in the mid lane.
Yeah, Realm Warp is there, but it leaves Azator and Tiara on their own. Meanwhile, Neon Esports, they're pinging the Nexus turrets. Are you kidding me? Flash forward by Azator. Zandia finds up between a Toad and a Hard Place as the rest of Neon Esports are laying down the DPS on those turrets. It's being sabotaged, but Eski finds that Morgana ultimate. This is just too much damage, too much control. Kuba can't find anything. Look at its HP disappearing at the hands of Yameru. It's too real. Azator with the kill onto Eski is gonna seal the deal. Neon Esports clean sweeps the Norwegian second seed of Celestial.
And I'm just so happy to see Haru performing like this. Yeah, sure, he didn't show us a great performance versus Falcon, but you can say, okay, that was their first game, they were just testing the water. Haru was playing on Karma. He is showing that he can actually carry. Went absolutely huge on that Camille, and I don't really have to say anything about Rain. I feel like any he patches, he somehow makes it work. Like Oik, like I was not even expecting to see this, and this guy went absolutely massive on it as well. In combination with the Yumi, so the dog cat combination, worked absolutely wonders for them. Bot lane did their part as well. Sure, they're always passive. The Neon Esports bot lane are always passive, but that's because Rain is playing towards mid and top. Yamera did not have the best time of his life here, but they managed to shut down Kulberg so much that the Yameru versus Zandia matchup did not matter at all.
Yes, Yamaru did draw the short end of the stick for the early game, but you see him come online on his own. He was picking fights with the people on this rise, like showing just how much this champion scales into the mid and later stages of the game. So Neon across the board looking absolutely fantastic. Obviously, Rain, as you said, playing towards the win conditions, which is mid and top side, and it was cleanly executed. They drafted themselves a very specific strategy, played accordingly, executed it nicely, and everyone was a part of it, right? There's even ADC flanks with Tiara and Azator
Yeah,
playing
I'm not
super
convinced
aggressively.
still about the rise because even though it played against the champion that scaling, and against another control mate that Cassiopeia is, it still didn't seem that strong for me, even towards the late game. I would have believed that maybe a Corki would have done the job better there, but why not try it? It's back in the meta. It felt much more doable in the mid lane with all the health regen that he got extra from the 914 patch. So I'm pretty sure we're going to be seeing a lot more Rise, a lot more Pike as well, and champions such as Azia have come back, Oriana have come back, and so on. So I can't wait to see what 914 will bring us forward. Hopefully more Warwicks. I don't know.
Hopefully more works. Indeed, it's going to take a little bit of time for perhaps to have all of these teams figure out exactly what is strong on 9.14. They've had about a week to play on it so far, and obviously the next patch will come in a week after that. So there's still a lot of theory crafting and trying things out to still there. So today, remember, guys, we did see Dusty 2-1ing MJ picking up their first win of the season. And for several of these members, it means the first win of 2 seasons for them. Also, Ventus 2-0ing FH with the Final Tribe 2-0 against Copenhagen Flames, and Falcon 2-0 against Nordavind on the off-stream matches, rounding off the day with Celestial Gaming falling brutally at the hands of Neon. So that pretty much wraps up round 4 and this week of Nordic League of Legends. We'll be back again on Tuesday with the same time, same place, same faces. And from me, Trouble Inc., and the entire broadcast crew, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.